Welcome back, guys. Quick break there, but we're back to continue part one here of Game of the Year 2019. It is time now for the next topic, which is best presentation.
Okay.
Giving everyone a quick rundown here. Best presentation is kind of the game that we picked that we really felt offered the best presentation and experience of the world or worlds or environments that we really were in. It's kind of the game that through music, visuals, what have you, really kind of pulled us in and made like, oh man, I'm so engrossed in this world. Really made us care as much about the world as we did about the characters in the game itself.
Yeah, okay. I'm totally there.
A perfect example, some of our previous picks, I remember 2017, I believe we picked Breath of the Wild as our best presentation winner.
Dude, just the way when you first get up to that plateau, the edge, and it just pans out and shows you the world.
Right at the start. Oh, it's so good.
I have not seen a game that presents itself in such a way since.
I'd agree. Well, maybe we'll find one here in this list here. As it's happened before, guys, we've got two runners-up each we're going to discuss, and then we're going to talk about our winner. Since I went first last time, we're going to pass the baton. You're going to go first with your runners-up here.
Okay.
So, best presentation.
All right.
Who are your runners-up?
I'm actually going to go with Borderlands 3 for first runner-up.
Oh, okay.
It's Borderlands, you're either a fan or you're not when it comes to a lot of their stuff because of how crazy, zany, and all that they can be. Their brand of humor, some people find it crude. I find it hilarious. It really goes down to your preference. Mm-hmm. But 100% with everything going on, the way it presents itself and how you start off, I love that they presented everything like, hey, you're on Marcus's bus yet again. You're on Pandora, and this is what's going on. And just when you finally get off of Pandora and the way it just shows and opens up is nuts.
And I haven't had the chance to get this far yet.
I've rolled credits.
Yes, you have. So you've got a really
I know what's going on. I've actually gone to True Vault Hunter mode. I've gone to the higher difficulties. I've gone doing some endgame stuff on it. I got to say, 100% honest, this game is everything that's amazing with Borderlands. Okay. Now, again, the art is insane. I gotta quote it's Claptrap of all things.
Oh god, this is gonna be good. I'm gonna get ready for this.
So let me set up this quote first, though. So you finally get off Pandora. You're in your ship.
Okay.
Sanctuary 3, surprise. They take Sanctuary wherever they go.
Yeah.
First it was catch a ride, but catch a ride, teleport the entire city. What?
Well, I don't get this.
But anyway, with everything going on, you kind of get messed around with a little bit from the Calypso twins. Some other stuff isn't that great. But ultimately, like, systems get out of whack. You get the ship fixed back, and there's a crack in the main, like, front windshield or screen or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Claptrap gets sucked up into it, and so his butt is the only thing blocking the rest of the universe from pulling you into a vacuum. It's Claptrap's ass. And Perfect. As you warp to the next point, it literally, the line is, my ass is full of stars. And that perfectly describes that universe and the way they present themselves. It's not appropriate for everybody. I fully endorse it, though, because it is hilarious and it is right up my funny bone.
Okay. I really appreciate Borderlands 3, and one of the main reasons, and I've talked about this with you, was that it always, like, the environments to me always, not necessarily a knock against it, but always felt the same. You were in the desert on this dry planet, and this was the first one where you really got to explore the universe.
You got to go to a planet under Maliwan's control.
Okay.
You get to go to a planet that's under what's the other company?
I don't remember all the guns' names.
No. But each corporation essentially has their own planet. So Wainwright Jacobs, you get to meet some of the Jacobs family.
Okay. That'd be pretty cool.
Wainwright Jacobs is actually romantically involved with Sir Hammerlock. So yeah, you actually get to explore their characters, which is really cool because the planet involving the Jacob stuff, Wainwright's sister is killing everyone off and trying to take the business over.
Oh, okay. So it's a coup, and she's trying to. Okay.
And she's using the Calypso twins to commit this coup. And so you get to deal with that family story, but that's very much a swamp planet.
Okay.
And so it's like the big hunters and all this kind of stuff.
It's Dagobah.
Yeah. Not quite Dagobah. I'd say it's a weird mix between Dagobah and Endor.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So you have moments where it's just like, dude, I'm slogging through swamp. And then you have other moments where it's just a forest. Really cool game. It knows itself, and each planet has its own feel, and it feels unique.
That's good. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. And honestly, there's some characters in there. I'm not going to tell you who they are, but their characters in the game are Pain and Terror, and they run a big music festival in the desert.
Okay. I'll get to them and I'll have a good discussion.
When you run into Pain and Terror, you're gonna have an oh shit moment, and then you're gonna talk to me about it.
All right, deal. I like that.
Yeah, but no, it's presentation. It's uniquely Borderlands, but it's willing to change landscape, terrain, and still delve into this weird world of these gun brands essentially owning everything.
The corporation
Atlas Corporation was the big one where you deal with Zero.
Okay.
And Maliwan was trying to take Atlas over, literally doing an attack on Atlas, and they were doing a hostile takeover. Literally, they're laying siege to their planet.
Holy crap. Okay. That's one way of doing it, I guess.
Yeah, like in a hostile takeover, he's like, yeah, everything will be fine. I'm going to take you out on my yacht, and, And meanwhile, the leader of Maliwan, like his family yacht, is where he kills everyone.
That's the like this. Yeah, we're like, oh my god, everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah, man, we're gonna party. It'll be great. Slit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you run into different things there.
Okay.
Second one, second runner-up would be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta say, as far as that. To quote Seth, this is a God Bless America Star Wars game. And it feels like Star Wars. I've already said the name Kashyyyk. I've never would have imagined we would get to go this far into Kashyyyk and see how it is, what's going on, this great tree, everything else. But at the same time, we've got Zepho, we've got these other planets, and we're dealing with these like caverns and just the puzzles and everything else. It's really cool. I love the way they present themselves, but Seer and Grease and all of that, like when you're on that outpost where you get captured and you got to battle your way out. You know what I'm talking about? The asteroid.
Oh, with the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
So like how the hell was that? I had no idea what the hell was going on. Like.
Well, I just ran into a bounty hunter in the world. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I roll out of the way of the first trap thing, whatever. And the second one, I'm like, oh, crap, I'm dead. I got to fight him again. No, awake. What? Like,
it's the same thing. That's how it works, is that you're just in the world, and all of a sudden this guy comes up and goes, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I remember that so much. That was, I don't remember the name of the asteroid, but you like fighting off of that was really, really cool.
Yeah, and it was interesting though because like I beat Ogdo Bogdo without anything but the basic stuff, and so by the time I got into that boss fight where it's like, and I have the enhanced force pull, I'm like, oh, you're easy now, kid. Get over here.
Get over here.
It's like, come here. The fact that like by the time I made it into there, I had all the force powers you have available to you at that time unlocked. So I went in there and I
stacked.
Yeah, I mowed through them.
Yeah.
But it was such a unique thing because I've never in that Star Wars universe felt or experienced or saw the inside of an asteroid and the way that would handle if you're having to fight for your survival like that. Like, yeah, we saw Han where he like went to light speed in a in a hangar and all that from there, but it's not the same as like, all right, I'm controlling this. What's going on? And just all of the different aspects of that game. Each planet does feel unique. I know you can.
I can attest to that. Yes, 100%.
I have yet to go to Dathomir.
You haven't gone to Dathomir yet?
No.
Oh, man.
And like
we're gonna talk about it off.
Yeah, I plan on going, but I've been essentially going back, and I'll find areas, and I will grind through until I have maxed out all my force powers, and then I continue on to the boss fights.
I will tell you, you have to. Like, not gonna say anything more than that, but you have to go to Dathomir. But okay.
Also, spoiler again. I got my second blade on my lightsaber in Kashyyyk.
I did not. I got mine on Dathomir because that's the after. What's the B planet? It's the one.
Zepho?
Not Zepho. Brino or.
Okay. I can't remember.
Oh. I can't.
Look,
I can't
the only
think of
one the only two that stuck in my head and I haven't forgotten was Dathomir and Kashyyyk.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like saying the names are going to spoil anything. At this point,
some hardcore fans. Bracca. No, he was on Bracca. Bogano. That's the first planet. That's where Bogano, where the first temple.
Yeah.
Is that the Seer takes you to? Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Honestly, with everything going on, everything I run into, like, they usually give me a little bit of difficulty, but because I've gone through and ground out those areas so much against those enemies, that now when I run into them, it's just like, oh, hey, come here, big guy. Zoink, lightsaber right into your face. What's up?
It's funny how when you get more powerful, like
not even more powerful. Once you learn their patterns, it's like, no, you're dead. Come here.
Just like a good old fashioned God Bless America, Soulsborne game.
I never really got into a Soulsborne game before this, so
yeah, it's a great one to jump into if you've never played one before. I'll definitely say that.
Excuse me. Yeah, man. So those are my two runners up.
Okay, good runners up. Good runners up. Especially like Borderlands 3. I haven't gotten nearly as far as you have yet, but I'm happy to hear that like the different worlds are very unique.
They are. And they all have their own attitude, and a lot of them have different enemies. The boss fight in the prison on the Jacobs planet. Holy crap. Like, it's one of those where I was like, oh man, skin on my backside did I survive.
Yes, love it. I'm excited to play through. It's my turn? Are you ready?
I believe that's how this works.
Okay. I think that's how it works. Last time I checked. Oh, it's okay. Best presentation. One of my runners up is The Outer Wilds.
I figured you were going to bring this one in.
At some point in time, you knew I was going to bring this in. Outer Wilds, and you know what's funny enough is that I talked off mic like one of my topics was really hard for me to make a pick on. This was the topic that I had a lot of, because I actually went through and there were about 7 choices that I could have picked from here. But I really sat down and thought from a best presentation standpoint and what I liked this year, and Outer Wilds ended up being one of those as my runners up. Everyone listening, this is not to be confused with Outer Worlds.
The game I keep talking about.
This is Outer Wilds. Thank you 2019 for that.
Man, that messed me up real bad this year.
Everyone up real bad.
Excuse me.
Outer Wilds is from Mobius Digital and Annapurna Interactive. Really great. Like they publish a lot of games. A lot of great indie games. But it's this kind of adventure game, whereas you are this like alien creature and you're part of this alien race, and on this planet you have this space station. Or you have the space program that you're building up. And you go through, you wake up from a nap and you go through and you're like, okay, we got to get set up so we can start doing our first launch and explore the solar system and I'll do all this crazy stuff here. You go through, and then you figure out, like, some events happen, and you end up getting stuck in a loop. Now, I don't want to delve too far in the story because we're talking about presentation, but you get stuck in this loop, and you basically, it's almost like Groundhog Day, the game in space, and you have to figure out the mysteries of the universe while you're in this loop.
Okay.
The way this is presented is so awesome. Like, they don't really tell you anything. When you start the game, it's like you hit a button to wake up. And you're waking up, you're staring at the stars, you're next to this fireplace, talking to this one guy, and kind of as you go through the first time, you talk to everybody, figure out what you're doing, learn how the controls work, finally getting your spaceship, blast off into space. There aren't that many planets, probably about the same amount that are in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They're nowhere near as big, but it reminds me a fair amount of Astroneer, and kind of how, you know, you blast it off into space. There weren't that many planets, and there are not that many planets, but they're all unique. They're all different. There's this one planet that is, it's a twin planet. So it kind of, it's these two planets kind of conjoined together. There's one that's there's an asteroid that flies around in the solar system you get to land on.
Okay.
There is there's one planet, and I think it's the twin planet, where sand from one planet empties out to the other one, and you have to, like, it's a timing thing because there are secrets in the planet that you have to go to before the sand comes in and fills it up. And if you don't get there in time, you have to wait for the next loop.
Okay.
There's this one I remember going to that was this ice planet that I was still trying to figure out, like, how to get into. But all the planets were really unique. Going through and how the controls are, blasting off from your home planet, going to the different planets, landing down, exploring. I got a lot of Astroneer. I got a lot of No Man's Sky vibes.
Okay.
Like, and just like, but you're not like harvesting and trying to get materials. You like going through and trying to learn, figure out these messages, and learn the mysteries of the universe so you can figure out the problems you're trying to solve. And everything from it's one of the things I like about this and why it ends up on best presentation is because the presentation was simple. It doesn't have this huge bombastic, orchestral score, but it doesn't need it. Like going in and hearing the low hums and beats and tones as you're blasting off into space, as you're exploring, going down in the caverns and caves. There's this one planet that it's this planet, but over time the plates on the planet are falling off because there's a black hole in the middle. And so like you stand on a certain plate, and after a while you might stand there and it'll like shake and it falls in. One time I actually slipped off and fell into the black hole. It sent me halfway across the galaxy, and I died because I couldn't get back to my ship.
Oh man.
And I was running at it. I'm like, it's over. Take off my helmet. But how each of these worlds present itself, how this mystery goes through, the music, the exploration, very, very calming and relaxing games. We have so many games that are very like, and this is not a bad thing, like action oriented and action driven. This was a very nice, smooth, calming game of me like exploring and going through the galaxy to figure out these mysteries.
Okay.
Loved streaming it for everyone on Twitch. Definitely, I know a lot of people that came through were very interested in watching it, but this is a really great game. I think it had some really great presentation, and I think that the lack, granted it's an indie game, yes, but the lack of all the stuff they put into it really helped.
Okay.
And they we looked at a game earlier, and one of the comments I had made was like, everything looks great, the music doesn't match what is being played up like on screen.
Yes, it was weird feeling.
Yes, this one is complete opposite. Like when incidents and certain actions happen in the game, like I can hear stuff and know, okay, this is about to happen. I'm walking to this area. I'm walking to that. The music, which I just found out recently, the music is on Spotify. On streaming services. The album's on there. Man, this is a lovely, mellow tones, and it fits so perfectly in this world and what you're trying to do. And just going through and exploring these planets and how these planets are brought up to you. There's not a lot, but going through and every time I go back there, there's something new that I find, something new that I explore. I think like the way they present that to you, the way it's shown to you, the way you learn more, it's really, really cool. I like that there wasn't, other than learning stuff in the game, there's not a lot of hand holding. Like, it doesn't tell you to go here or go do this. Like, you have a map, and you have to like piece stuff together to try and figure out these mysteries that are going on through the world. It doesn't tell you like go to this point and find out more. And I thought that was really appreciative and something unique for me this year. So, Outer Wilds, one of my runners up here. The
Very
other
cool.
one, what is my second one? My other runner up is, drumroll, Control.
Okay.
Awesome game from Remedy this year. A game that as we started seeing more coverage on, I started getting more interested in it. Developed by Remedy Games, published by 505 Games. Control, I will definitely say, I've watched a little bit of X-Files. Haven't watched a lot of Twin Peaks stuff. I've seen enough clips and GIFs and stuff online to get an idea, but if those shows are anything like Control and kind of its atmosphere, I'm in. The going through its Control as Jesse Faden, your title character, walking into the Federal Bureau of Control. It's very cool how you can tell this is like the real world. Everything looks very structured and like a office building when you go into the control building, but as like the world takes shapes and stuff, and
dude, just like the whole point of you getting up to get the gun the first time.
Yes, like presentation oozes from this game.
It's just so eerie and creepy going in.
I love it. It's not like a spooky game where it's like, ooh, jump scare, trying to scare you, or like Resident Evil. It's like that suspenseful Twin Peaksy X-Files vibe. Like, you're curious, but you have this like scratching and gnawing in the back of your mind, and you don't know what's going to happen or what's going on, and you're like, you can't wait to turn around the next corner to kind of continue to solve this mystery of like what's going on in the oldest house. The geometry of all the levels, how stuff changes and how the buildings change and take shape, how the enemies you fight change and take shape, like how they die, like they leave that misty residue, and like what's really cool, especially since we're talking about presentation, like how you run through that and like it kind of graphically it like follows with you. Sounds and everything. There is, to my memory, there is a very distinct lack of music in the game. It's funny enough, we talked about sometimes less can be more with Outer Wilds. Like, again, with Control, like, I feel like them not having that much music, like, you hear, like, when you shoot somebody, you hear the gunshots more, and when the enemy dies, you hear the pop, and they turn into puffs of smoke. And going through, and when you're, like, you watching and seeing the building change shape, when you go into these rooms where you look up and there is no ceiling, it's just, like, sky and stars. And like darkness. It's each room and each level's unique, and each room in each level is unique, and some of them look like normal facilities, and then you start going into the weird and the unusual and the sci-fi-esque, like, and how Remedy has told this story with Jesse and becoming the director and the characters that are involved. Like, it's top tier, and it's again one of the reasons why I think Remedy is in the top of its class. I had a lot of fun with Quantum Break when it came out a couple of years back. This was no exception to me. Everything about it, again, another game that it was very unique in its presentation and style, from the music and the presentation of its environments and your characters and whatnot. And it was something that I didn't see a lot of this year, and I think that uniqueness helped out a lot for me. I will definitely say this was a very close call between this game and my number one, my winner.
Okay.
But I put Control as one of my runners up because I definitely enjoyed. I love the feel of that, like just the the creepy X-Files, like trying to figure this out. It's something unique that I didn't get to see.
You know what? The X-Files is a perfect way to describe that game.
Yeah.
It's like if the X-Files had actually tried to have a proper video game.
Yes. They already have it now. It's Control.
Yeah.
But that is my runner-up. My runners-up, Outer Wilds and Control.
Okay.
We're here. The winners for best presentation.
Yes, we are.
Will, what is your pick?
The Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the Outer Wilds.
Sensing a theme here. No, hold on. Outer Worlds. Okay.
Yeah, no. So, 100%. When you first are introduced to the game, you have Phineas Wells flying up in this old busted ship of his onto the space ship that your people have been frozen on for 70 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you're into the character creator as he's picking a pod because he's going to bring you back.
Yes.
And it's so crazy that after you finish your character creator, he essentially, all right, cool. And what was it? Bootlickers is what he calls the cops who come in trying to tell him to stop.
Specifically bootlickers. That's what he says.
And then, his ship gets shot and he still gets away. The whole process of just like, yeah, you're going to meet this guy on the surface of the planet, look for him. His name's Hawthorne, blah, blah, blah. Your pod lands on the planet and you crushed Hawthorne. just that
I laughed.
right there.
I'm like, the writing here is going to be great. I just love it. As soon as I hit them, I'm like, oh, okay, he's it.
This game, the way it opens up and drops you in Edgewater, I know you can agree. It is very interesting in the way they approach it. They're like, yeah, they do some hand holding to kind of show you the ropes, but
it's not that much. It's very light touch.
Yeah, it's light touch. They get you out there and go. You can, in this game, do straight dialogue builds where you can just max out your dialogue stats and you can just talk around people to get them to do whatever you want and then go through this. You can straight kill your mind stats. So on the Xbox, I'm playing this game. I killed my speech. I did the exact opposite. I made a character. I named him Lenny.
That's awful, but it's funny.
Maxed out melee strength and one other thing. So it's got 3 ticks up. And I killed the mind stats. So dumb dialogue was enabled. The dumb dialogue options are amazing. They're just as great. And then, you can cause stupid things to happen because of that. So it gives you both sides of that coin, while at the same time, you can say, forget all this. I'm going to turn Phineas Wells into the authorities, and I'm just going to kill everyone I run into. You can totally do that. You can beat the game while killing all the quest givers.
I've heard that the fastest speedrunner right now is 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is bananas.
Yeah, well, I mean, you turn in Wells and play stupid. Do a dumb dialogue build. No, but in all seriousness, with everything going on, though, you get so much freedom in this game. Like, the first planet, I cleared it. Didn't have to kill hardly anybody except Marauders. And
nobody cares about them anyway. So.
Yeah, but you want to know the setting as far as this? Mm-hmm. It's set in an alternate universe that diverged in 1901 when the President McKinley was not assassinated. And so he didn't have, Teddy Roosevelt take up after him. So it was very much pro-business and brands and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And they kept that going, and that's where you ended up with Spacer's Choice.
Spacer's Choice?
And Aunt Cleo's and these other brands. And so it's just interesting. But you feel the sense of, all right, cool, you open up, you're on this planet, and you're like, oh man, we got kind of like this like open-ish world vibe. Then I believe it's the Goliath is the name of the ship that you get to.
You gonna figure it out for us?
I'm actually gonna look it up.
Okay, no problem. Outer Worlds. I've got a lot of... One of the games that I wasn't sure if I was going to like, but I've enjoyed what I've played of it so far and continuing to play it. So,
yeah. So you can, with everything going on, you can choose, like, you when you get to that ship, you can bring people with you. You can tell people in your crew, I don't want you to come with me. You stay here on the ship. And you can go it alone. And there are perks you can pick that give you lone wolf abilities that if you don't have your crew members with you,
Yeah.
then you get bonuses since you don't have them to back you up. It's very interesting the way this game plays.
Oh,
It lets
really?
you really decide, hey, you know what? I don't need these people. I don't need members of my crew. I can go it alone. Or I can have a crew and I can choose to bring them with or not.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
so
okay.
it gives you full flexibility. Like, I don't know of another game where I can kill the people who give me the quests and still beat the game.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the nice
Like,
handy things with Obsidian. Like, that's kind of how their storytelling has been. Mm-hmm. I've not played one of their games, so you would know better than I would.
I mean, the last one I played was forever ago.
Okay.
So it's one of those. But my big thing with all this is each planet, it's got this 1920s kind of vibe as far as architecture and everything. But each planet feels unique, but at the same time, it has enough that's the same for you to go through. It's just perfect example, and I hate using them because they don't know how to build a PC. But The Verge over here, like, just the art for in that town. Like, there's bodies over there from an attack. You know, just got this dude chilling, like, whatever. Mm-hmm. But
I'm looking at him.
it's very Art Deco at the same time.
Yeah. I did like in my experience in Edgewater was really cool.
So-
Seeing kind of the buildings and how they've laid everything out.
Yeah, it's one of those where, in all honesty, I love the vibe you get from it. The one thing I find disappointing is the actual soundtrack is nowhere to be found. You can't buy it.
Really?
Yeah, there's a playlist on Spotify, and it's all licensed music that's like an official playlist.
Ooh.
But it's more like stuff that was used in marketing materials than actually dealing with the game
the actual
itself.
game itself. Yeah.
I'd love to have the music from the game without having to go to YouTube and listen to somebody rip that out of the PC version.
Yeah, that's a shame. Because the music
So-
is cool. I was humming it earlier.
and
we started talking about it.
not even that though. Like the designs for the spaceships, like you have enough seriousness, like with Pavardi's story, but also you got silly stuff going on with like, oh yeah, the AI she threatens to self destruct and launch you into space and all this. And it's like, oh, I was kidding. I don't have that ability.
Yes. Very sardonic attitude for your AI
Yeah.
on your ship.
What's even crazier is after you fix up, there is a automaton you can get on your ship that cleans. What?
I'm imagining ways that can go.
And you walk in on that automaton and the AI talking to it dirty. It's hilarious. It's all over the place. It's got a sense of humor. And it is just hilarious the ways that it all goes, depending on how you play and what you unlock.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I just like the fact that I can have a straight dialogue option as far as the character in the game, and then just be like, cool, max out melee, max out dialogue, and just talk my way through it or beat the face in. I don't have to worry about anything else. And like, I straight talked into some things. Like, I went and turned the power off to Reed Tobison.
Mm-hmm.
I turned the power off, took all his stuff, threatened him, and at the same time, he still lets me into the town because I talked my way around it.
You're going to take all my stuff, but come on in.
Yeah, welcome, man.
I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah. He doesn't hate me, even though I took away his ability to do the work that the company pays him to do.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't get it. In real life, somebody would be holding a grudge. They'd be trying to have you killed.
Be a little upset, right?
Yeah.
But
Hey, it's just craziness that you can have happen.
that's one of the nice things about the freedom in that game, and I've seen and kind of noted as I've again only started with the game, but it's been really
It
cool.
also is a nice reminder to EA that single player games aren't dead, just like Star Wars.
But come on,
Yep.
get on it, EA.
All right, you're up.
It's my turn. So my pick. Make sure I don't know why I have to double check, but my pick for best presentation, my winner. I think this might be a first so far of so far of duplicates that have been on each of ours thing, mine is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That is my number one pick.
Okay. I can see why.
It was between that and Control. It was really, really hard, but a lot of what you echoed earlier, I really, really liked the presentation in what they did to bring the Star Wars environments to life. The music, all the tones and whatnot you hear when you land on planets.
The boss fights.
And you haven't even hit like a couple of them at the end, or oh my god, they're so good.
Yeah, but then you get like mini bosses, which are like the Temple Guardian kind of things.
Yes,
Which
they're fun and they're hard to fight too.
I don't know if I'd call them hard actually. Like once you figure out their pattern, it's not bad.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I say hard in the same sense that this is a Soulsborne game, so you kind of like you don't just jump in and can pick up on it immediately. Sometimes you have to learn and be like, okay,
Oh man, you're gonna beam attack, Pole.
yeah, and make sure double bladed lightsaber so I can block some bullets that are coming at me. A lot of the stuff you talked about, the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
When the bounty hunter comes and gets you, I don't know, this is not necessarily spoiler stuff if you haven't run into it yet, but there are bounty hunters in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get near the tail end, you'll have to fight. Like, you'll be walking around the planet, and there's two bounty hunters, the big guy in a mech robot, and then there's a guy flying around all Boba Fett-like. And they're bounty hunters you have to fight. And, like, learning their strategies and knowing who to take out are very interesting. And they're random. I went to Zepho, to one area. I've been there 5 times, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, get over here. And then they try and catch you.
Thanks, Grease.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I've talked about, like, the Mantis being on the ship. I really like their method to combating loading screens.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you're on the ship
Yep.
and you do your thing, and then when you're ready, Grease is like, we're ready to land, kid, come on. And
You know what I'm interested in to see how this game translates once next gen consoles launch. Where are you playing it?
I played it on PS4 Pro.
PS4. I'm playing it on the One X. It is very interesting to see when PS5 and Series X come out how this game handles loading then. When you're going to be, instead of on a hard drive, you're on an NVMe SSD.
Here we go. Oh, we're ready to go. We're here. What?
It's just like, huh? What? Like, I can't wait to try Halo Reach running on an NVMe SSD with all that upgraded power. Just games like that. Or 4.
You're right. It was right in my heart. You know I love 4 very much.
So I'm just saying, man, like, it's going to be really cool because this game looks so good now on the One X. I can imagine on the Pro.
Oh yeah, it looks good on the Pro. I think I played it more in here on my 1080p screen. I haven't had a chance to plug it back up to the 4K screen, but
If you do plug it into the 4K screen, don't turn 4K on. Leave performance mode on. The problem with the hardware we're running it on now is 4K drops at 230, sometimes 24 frames.
Yeah.
And this game needs to be fast.
Oh yeah, and especially with the PS4 Pro, because it's not a lot of the games. It's not really hitting 4K. It's kind of like upscaling or doing some trickery.
It's like 1440p.
Yeah, which is still great. It's just that full power. I think that it actually helps in a game like this to have the better frame rate. Anyway.
Yeah.
But like, I think the thing that got me is that it just Respawn did such a great job nailing Star Wars. Nothing against Battlefront 2, but like the last game I can remember that did a great job with nailing Star Wars was like The Force Unleashed, and even then it was kind of like, presentation was okay. But
it's like, oh hey, you are Starkiller, go. You have all the powers.
But like the combat and how tactically it takes itself and really does make you feel like a Jedi, in the sense of like Jedi defend, they do not attack. Like that is the nature of the Jedi, and like you don't just jump into fights. You sit there, you watch the patterns, you see how they attack, so that way you know when you can counter and do whatever you need to do. The characters, the moments, I will definitely say very similar to the Bounty Hunter when they capture you the first time. A lot of set piece moments in this game are so wonderful. When you first land in Kashyyyk for the first time.
Mm-hmm. The train.
The train.
They nail the train sequence.
Like all of this was done so masterfully in like as we said, as Seth said, this is a God Bless America Star Wars game, and I think they nailed every ounce of presentation to really make you feel like you, just like when you watch the movies or you watch the shows, like you are in the Star Wars universe, and like they should be applauded for it. Again, I had a really difficult time choosing between this and Control as my number one, but I think in the end, that Star Wars feel and how well they did giving that Star Wars presentation out, I think won out for me. And so I give Jedi Fallen Order my nod.
Yo, totally worth it.
So, bam, there you go, guys. Best presentation for Cam, it's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. For Will,
The Outer Worlds.
Like, what do you think?
Both good choices.
Both good choices? I like both of those choices. Like, the more I play The Outer Worlds, the more I'm loving that game.
It's because you're not a Fallout guy.
I'm not, and that's what
it's
so crazy.
It's got that Fallout vibe, but it has, in my opinion, it feels better than even Fallout 4. Fallout 76, total transparency. I'm about to crap on this game, and I'm not trying to be negative.
Here we go. Get ready. No, go ahead.
They literally, I fired up the Bethesda launcher on my computer because I was like, wait, why do I have this on here? Oh, that's right. They gave me Wolfenstein Youngblood when I got my computer. Funny thing, Bethesda gave me a copy of Fallout 76 on my Bethesda account. I promptly uninstalled the Bethesda launcher. Just saying. That's kind of where I'm at with that. It's like, Bethesda, let's take your money and give it to Obsidian and see what they do.
Yeah, right?
Because right now, guys, ever since Skyrim, your games have not been as good as Skyrim. And they're not even holding Bethesda tier, in my opinion. The exception would be Doom, but that's id Software.
I feel like we're going to have a discussion
There's going
with
to
that
be.
game later on.
Oh no, there will be a discussion because things keep happening.
Yeah, among other things there, but
Yeah. One of the topics later this year is going to be, or for this Game of the Year discussion, is going to be very brutal.
can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be interesting.